It was midday. We jostled bags on the back of the van. Cables. Where are my damn cables? A folding chair had been lovingly labeled by the missus. Chaos Magic News. As if the painter's tape and Sharpie were enough to ward off the deranged masses we'd be seated with. Where are my Oh, there they are. CMN was on the road to navigate the veins of America to Carnival of Khaos, a one-stop gathering of the strange out in secluded nature. The great god Pan is dead? No, sir. He just smells like that.
CMN.
Imagine that there is a brilliant white light just above.
Is commentary on the magic art.
In the years of the primal force and the dawn of terrestrial birth.
Oh, that was very educational.
Now magic will take place. Don't be fooled by what I just said.
Welcome, everyone. I am Sadomasochism Kennedy, and this is Chaos Magic News, the only podcast that is coming to you live from the middle of the woods at Carnival of Khaos. Joining me, as always, is my gonzo co-host, Cunter S. Thompson. How are you doing, Cunter?
The S stands for serving.
Also joining us is, of course, the biggest friend we have that we have dragged out here with us. We have the homeboy Local. Local, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all guys? You've already answered that.
Yeah. Well, I guess just the quick preamble. We are actually doing a live show. We're under a canopy. We're out in the middle of the wilderness. We're at Carnival of Khaos. We dragged the homie Local along with us. It's been an adventure.
And we're here with the fourth person of the CMN podcast this week. We have all of Camp Chaos with us. Well, most of them.
Yeah. Aww.
You came. You brought the zucchini.
I did.
Ah,
Our Lord
fantastic.
and Savior.
It's Amy, right?
Amy.
Well,
I think so. I think I'd have to ask.
we have a nice truncated episode for you this week because we all want to get back to doing the
Wild Hunt's on in like 30 minutes, so
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
debauchery we got to get to.
yeah. So
somebody's got to go end up on top of a tree and all sorts of stuff, or in a tree maybe.
someone's got to fuck a tree, is what we're saying, essentially.
That's at 11.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's put a pin in that one.
I'm sorry, we didn't get a copy of the schedule.
We just knew when to show up. So, okay. Quick opening discussion. Hey, we're at a kink and chaos fest, so what are we going to talk about, obviously?
Sex magic?
Right. Who doesn't love a good sex magic?
A good sex magic, like a singular? Like
One singular version
one-
of a sex magic.
Sir, one sex magic, please. Here is my $5. Right?
So, at any rate, sex magic, everyone here knows about it. I'm sure everyone here has participated in it in some capacity, even if you're just jerking off in the goon tent over there.
This is when Local makes the joke saying, I've never even kissed a girl. I don't know what you're talking about.
I've kissed one girl. You were there for it.
Oh, yeah. She is a lovely lady.
She is.
And that wig fit really nice. It was me. I had the wig.
Okay, so sex magic in general, it's kind of something that's been talked to death, really. It's almost like, why would we bother?
Was it Kinsley saying that the shit where he was talking about like the secret's already out, everybody knows it.
Oh, yeah. The 9th degree of the OTO. It's like, you guys can just find it online. You know that, right? You don't have to go get someone to like pat you on the butt and say, all right, here, you got the secret now. You don't have to get initiated. I mean, it's not the same, I get it, but like it's out there. It's the cannon that always fires. That's probably even to this day the most popular variant of sex magic that you see, if we're being honest, right? Like
the engaging in the sexual act, having the intent focused on stuff, and then like firing it off, that sort of deal. Which just really just turns into like when you're doing it alone. Now it's a sigil thing,
right? And especially there's lots of different sort of aspects of it that don't get talked about enough, like the idea of how to create the magical link properly and stuff. But still, all that stuff.
Well, there's like the Thelema has that binary sexual thing going on, and then it's where it's like there has to be the even if it's not man lady, it's like giver receiver, and they function basically the same.
Oh right, yeah. If it, guys, we're gonna initiate the 11th degree real quick. It's butt magic. You do it in the butt. Has anyone thought of this? It was fucking revolutionary back then, apparently.
Magic is stored.
It's in the butt.
Well, if anybody's got money, like Birdio is still alive, so you could go bother him, and I'm sure if you wanted to hand him like $100, he'd give you like the 13th, 14th, 15th.
He'll make new ones up. Like, check it out. This is you doing it in the ear.
He got that one from the Mormons, right?
Yeah. So in stuff that's not talked about quite as much, does anyone know CF Russell? CF Russell was kind of like the redheaded stepchild of Thelema. He was they really liked him for a minute, but we did an episode way back called the Crybaby Thelema Hour, where we basically just talked about how everyone within the OTO and the AA, it's pretty much the exact same story. Tell me if you've heard this one before. Hi, I'm Aleister Crowley. Boy, I'm a fun guy. I'm going to find all these new people, these new students. You're really cool. We're going to teach all these things. And you know what? I kind of fucking hate you now. You're kind of a piece of shit.
Oh, no.
And trust me, I'm Aleister Crowley. I know a thing or two about people being a piece of shit.
Well, like Akkad, it happens. You know, he puts Akkad up on some Magic Baby stuff. He's like, yo, my son. You're my son, bro. And then it's like, oh, man, we got to squabble over like some sold copies of like
You
Theory
stole
of
my
Practice.
books.
Yeah.
At any rate, but Russell is a fascinating character in his own right. He doesn't so much leave Thelema so much as say like, hey, this is mine now, and just kind of goes off with it. He made the Karanzan Club, if anyone knows that.
Which is actually, circles back. That's how Bertio gets involved.
But interestingly enough, the Karanzan Club, by the time Bertio got there, had kind of devolved into like, I mean, let's just call it what it is. It was gay men who were like really into looking at theosophy stuff, kind of hanging out, and Russell had completely left by this point. Russell got into projective geometry, which is a whole fucking weird bag if you want to get into it. It's very fun stuff, but it's not relevant to the point
Somebody
we're
nodded
making
when
here.
you said that, and my brain just went like,
You heard geometry you heard it in the 7th grade, and we're like, nope, we're checking out.
well, I had to take the class twice, so too busy doing magic.
At any rate, the interesting things about Russell is he became a big proponent of dynamism or dynamism, however you want to pronounce it. A running bit on CMN is that we don't know how to pronounce anything because everything we learned was from text in a book or on the internet. So
and
we
the
don't.
text to speech doesn't help. It just starts saying Nazi stuff at us.
That's a joke for us.
Well, if you just have a garbled enough accent, you don't have to pronounce anything right. They just
You speak a Nokim with a southern enough accent, they're like, I guess that's it.
You just say y'all in the middle of it.
But okay, the idea of that was actually sex with imagined beings or astral beings, angelic beings.
We're going right back to jerking on a squiggle, dude. It's like, yeah, I can think of stuff while I'm touching myself too.
I mean, you could, or you could try to make a genuine connection with a type of spiritual or higher planes being and engage in sexual intercourse.
Well, the serious bit is like Steve Moore, Alan Moore's not brother, had a long-standing relationship with a moon goddess that was basically of that nature, where he in the Western debauched, butchered idea of what a tulpa is, he basically conjured up this sort of moon goddess that he had a relationship with. He took her to the store with him. When he was alone working on his stuff, she was there and he talked, and they would have like this deep, like, energetic sexual practice that he did, to the point that Alan Moore basically says like, well, yeah, I went over there while he did it, and which is like, that's a line, I'm sure, for some people. But he's like, I did it while I took some mushrooms. He did the stuff, and then I saw this goddess manifest in front of me.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, more interesting sides of the sex magic. You don't have to just get with a partner and be like, well, all right, I'm going to get
Kenneth
my breathing
Grant has
going.
a whole spiel about the ideas of using the sexual magic practices to bring things forth and like commune with certain entities and everything like that. It's not a incredibly novel idea, but it is interesting that C.F. Russell starts it. Or at least he becomes the big proponent of it.
Well, Russell got it from someone else whose name escapes me at the moment.
From Joe.
Who's Joe?
Joe Mama. Got him. These are the jokes, people.
These are the jokes.
But moving on.
I think the other more interesting side of it just goes into, stop me if you heard this one before too, the more tantric practices of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's even what we're touching on a little bit.
Right, and it's more of a, you do have a very specific kind of niche here. You're not going to be able to do a billion sorts of different ways of this because, let's just be frank, it's a biological reality, right? Like, sex is a thing that you do with a body. Oh, we have people in the audience who disagree.
Right. I think when you look broadly, as the culture is defining sexuality more broadly, is including a lot of BDSM practices, etc. When you're talking about sexual magic, there is a lot more to
I won't argue with that there, but I didn't prepare for that. No, but there is, because even in terms of kink, because kink does rely on a lot of dynamics, there's a lot of assuming certain roles, and there's a lot of ecstatic practice that can come from like somebody hitting you and you getting your jollies off, stuff like that. And I'm being very, with it. But there's a lot in it that in ways it is ritualistic in and of itself. So of course there's easy ways that you can incorporate that in. It's like, all right, we're already doing a lot of the bells and whistles here. How do we make this serve a magical point? We just did a ritual earlier where the entire point was using pain as the focal point for gnosis. And it worked really well, and nobody had to take their pants off. I did, but nobody said you didn't have to. That's just because you were hot.
Yeah.
And you're hot, buddy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Now, I do want to hear somebody talk about, like, yeah, I was in this, like, astral BDSM relationship with the entity where it's like the succubus just came in with the bullwhip and was like, buckle up, cowboy. But that's probably a lot harder to pull off. I think especially if we're going, because let's just go, we're here already. If you're going into the realm of the idea of astral, energetic, beyond human entities, like, I think that it heavily relies on the imagination already, right? So I don't think it's as hard as you would imagine. It's probably, not to denigrate magic here, but we're chaos. We're good at that sort of thing. Counterpoint, right? It's a lot easier, at least in my experience, it's a lot easier to conjure up feelings and like visceral, it like something in your gut of like, oh, like I'm really angry, or I feel very loving, or I'm terrified, or like those are things that you can conjure up a lot easier than something like, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, no, I understand. But I guess in the ideas of like domination and submission and stuff like that, I mean, Goetia is, 2 clicks away. If you had like the riding crop when you got into the circle, it's like, listen, you rotten motherfucker, I got the power of God on my side. Come here.
That is also an 11.
Well, we've already gone too long on this because we have like I said, a truncated show. But I will just touch on. I'm no stranger to that sort of dynamic with various spirits. Some of them want it. Some of them want to enjoy that sort of thing. And just like different sort of kink relationships that we have in the real world here, or the, whatever, put your adjective in there, real, material, whatever you want to use there. There's a certain actual power in the form of the submission itself, rather than, it's the game of like, all right, I have to act like I'm the stern taskmaster to get you to take your vitamins and drink your water in the morning, because that's how you're going to do it. But it's because you allow me to do this. The magical import of that is pretty easy to parse out for most of us. We've never been a show for the beginner. If you don't know what we're talking about, go get in a relationship.
I guess. He loves to teach new timers, And then he shows up at the bullwhip and he's like, all right, and
I'm going to learn you some magic.
My associate, Sudden Merger Kennedy, was driving. He had made the travel arrangements and accommodations, which meant if this whole thing went tits up, I was blaming him. Look, let's just have a good time. Well, it's easy for you to say. I'm all nerves. What have you got on you? He produced from his hand an electronic box with a mouthpiece. Bright colors, push buttons. The thing might have said Nintendo on the side. It was several hours of, in 3 million miles, turn left. Oh boy, it's going to be a long one. We had made a detour to grab another CMN regular. 2's company, 3's an enterprise. Hi, y'all. Local had greeted our arrival with crawdads. We greeted the crawdads with whiskey. Suffice to say, the chemical reactions we underwent when we made it back to a highway were mind-altering, if vomit was your idea of a trip. Worse yet, we had made the foolish decision to partake in that elusive mistress, Magick. I remembered saying to local's lady friend, this is why I don't do magic on the fly. That's the best time to do it. I would never argue with a woman who does Pilates. She could probably take my head off. It's not every day you end up hauling a deer antler cross-country with you. If we were lucky, it wouldn't come back with us. Eisenhower's beautiful dream had given way to fields and forests, and places where 5G goes to die. You could tell we were getting close. The facade of reality was running out of draw distance, replaced by the Archon's AI-generated pre-bought assets. We passed a storefront where we watched a woman out front turn into a 2D cardboard cutout before our eyes. God's sakes, man. Pass me that Joy-Con. I'm going to lose it.
Moving on from that, it is time for not the most beloved segment, but a beloved segment.
It's my beloved segment.
Oh, this is your favorite one?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I always like it. The for anybody who's first timers here, there is a reason that the word news is in this.
Oh no, we're not going to that yet.
Oh, which one are we doing?
We have a Banished with Laughter.
Oh my God. Okay,
We
great.
do?
We do.
Oh, is it gonna be the?
I don't know if any.
When did
He
this
planned
happen?
the show.
Guess who did the show this week, folks? It was me once again, Kennedy, bringing the yucks. Okay, we have you want to do the goofy laugh for the Banished with Laughter?
Ha 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 hee hee. How's that? We're speed running this.
All right, fine. Okay. Well, we talked a little bit about a little person named Aleister Crowley. Do you guys know that Aleister Crowley had like a pseudo Masonic order? No one's ever heard of this, right? Never.
What was it called?
It was the Ordo Templi Orientalist or something. I don't know.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, never heard of it. It must be fake. No, okay, but yeah, the OTO. Were you guys aware the OTO had a porn site?
Oh, that's this part.
Does anyone?
Welcome to the show.
Oh boy.
So in my diggings, I happened upon this because somebody was asking about it, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it for like a year. I've had this on the back burner waiting for the right time to do it, and this felt like the right one. There's a website. It was in like the mid to late 90s called Virtually Venus, and it is exactly what you would expect.
Wait.
From,
.com, .org. Is it still up? Do I have to go on Internet Archive?
You got to go on the Wayback Machine to find some of this, but it was called Virtually Venus, and it is everything that you would expect from the Thelemic porn site. You got
big bushes,
quotes from the Book of the Law. Everyone's got names like Anada and Aisha Kadesha and stuff like that. It's wonderful. I can't even do it justice. There's a whole lot of the way I actually found out about it was GM Kelly, who ran the Sword of Horus site, who I'm sure is dead now. I'm pretty sure they're dead at this point. If not, they're definitely off the internet at least. And good for them. What they do mostly is yell about other Thelemites being terrible. It's a time-honored tradition in Thelema. But he just went off about how he found this and he thought it was the worst thing ever. Not because it was porn, but because one, it was trite, and two, like, I know Bill Breeze is getting the money for this and I'm not having it. He's one of those like, the Caliphate OTO types. If you guys don't know anything about that, don't worry about it. We did it in the Crybaby Thelema hour. Talk about it. We'll talk about that later. He just goes off at it. But I'm not even going to give you the whole tirade or anything. I want to talk about the various things that I found through the Wayback Machine on this. First off, when you go to the site, it had the wonderful opening. It says, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." They said the word. Virtually Venus, the first erotic website featuring an
We should have an audience for all of these shows.
Virtually Venus, the first erotic website featuring and operated by Thelemic women. While all of our work is done in Nomine Babylon, you will find the best of our creative juices flowing in and it just cuts off from there because it's fucking Internet Archive and we can't fucking have all of it. I guess they quickly went from, you know what, this whole, porn on the internet thing is just going to be a fad. You know what's going to really work? Let's start selling magazines.
They published a magazine.
3 issues, and they have excerpts from the various ones.
That, and they had the VHS copies that you could buy, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, regular magazines or, like, pornographic magazines?
Definitely pornographic magazines, but like all pornographic magazines, we have things like the letters column and such.
I only read the Thelemic porn for the articles, yeah.
Dear Uncle Al, I never thought it would happen to me.
But here I was taking my Minerval up the ass. We have such wonderful features as Columbine with Mirror.
Huh?
Yeah, well, no, her name was Columbine. She took pictures with a mirror and a dildo. Shocking. But the fun ones are, do you guys want to hear some pre-2000s pickup artistry?
Oh.
This is called How to Bag Babes, part 1 of a regularly featured column by Lance A. Lott.
God damn it.
It's a short little excerpt, but I have to read this. Now, I'm the first to admit that I was not born the sexy babe magnet that I am now. No, not by a long shot. I was always the shy, retiring type, and I preferred the quieter pursuits like reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Just hand over your lunch money right now.
I feel physically
Does this guy live in a basement?
I hope he does. He belongs down there.
Hey. It's like my own little apartment. I got my hot plate on the side. I got my piss jug. I
got my altar set up for the Gnostic Mass. That I
It's my life-size Hatsune Miku. That's my priestess.
Oh, God. I lost my fucking spot now.
Miku, please be my Scarlet Woman.
Notice me.
I still remember.
Scarlet Waifu is somebody's fucking Twitter handle.
Oh,
right fucking now.
If not, someone take it, please. And
Hold
just
on, I'm
tweet
on
us.
it. There's no signal out
Yeah,
here.
we don't have signal.
I still remember going to bars and reciting Edgar Allan Poe poems to a woman, hoping that they would make a pass at me and take me home with them. That's when I met Lou, the first master who taught me the art of the fairer sex. And you'll have to read the rest in the Temple of Love issue of Virtually Venus, which is gone. So let's just thank the world that was disintegrated somewhere.
Maybe I can find it on eBay.
Oh God, I will hit up every single
just burning all of the Patreon money to get copies of
We
this
just start cruising antique shops. And we're like, where are your old magazines?
Well, if it's like the rest of the stuff owned by the OTO, it's donated to some fucking museum or college in goddamn San Francisco
so like
now.
The Gunther-ites, right, with the Jimmy Page Playhouse, like because they started selling like pieces of the old drywall and stuff to give you money. They should have just made an OnlyFans.
Yeah,
they would have just continued the tradition.
Yeah. Here, we won't go too much harder on this, but you guys got to hear some of these. This is a table of contents from issue number 3. We have such wonderful hits as I come in the name of temptation. Do you guys know how they spelled come? You know how they spelled come?
They spell come.
Oh, God. They have a random section on fucking the Hermit for some reason. I'd like to see how they'd make that sexy.
That's about being in the basement.
That's the Gooner.
It's the
Gooner. The Hermit's a giant tongue. I'm just saying.
I thought that was Kermit, like the frog. He had the big tongue.
So it was a giant what?
Tongue.
Yeah, in the Thoth deck, it's a tongue.
Here's the little section of I come in the name of temptation for you, just because we'll end it on this. I was daydreaming about you again. I hope you don't mind. It's just that you turn me on so. Just keeping your image in my mind is a turn on. I turn it over and over again, imagining every possible fantasy and perversion that we could do to each other.
This is possibly worse than an unsolicited dick pic.
I'm so damp right now.
Oh, man. You know what? We'll poll the crowd real quick. Was anyone surprised that they would be selling porn to try to make some money?
No.
Absolutely not.
That's exactly what I expect from them. But are anyone surprised that it's this bad?
No.
You would think that the grand secret of the OTO is the power of sex magic, and it's like, fuck, I don't think you guys have ever even fucking talked to a lady. What the fuck? It's nice to know that the tradition holds strong in the OTO, though. So good for them. They're making it happen. They're still the most displeasing people that you can probably go to an event like this with. All right. Okay.
But to love me is better than not. Oh.
Just saying that as you're, pulling the fucking Cheeto dust out from under your fucking side boob.
It's Cheez-Its. Now.
God, could you imagine if the conservatives ever got wind of that, though? It's just sort of like, we were right. We look at all this bullshit. It starts with occultism and it just ends with fucking. That's all it's about.
The funny thing about this, though, is after Mr. Kelly found out about it and he did his snooping, because, he makes it sound like he's a fucking detective or some shit. Like, motherfucker, they have the goddamn Book of the Law quotes on there. They know they're clearly in the OTO at this point in time. Like, you're not doing that at this point. If if nothing else, though, he messages these people trying to get them to admit to it, and then like he finds one of their names and like, aha, I found it, and they're like, good for you. And then they just change the site to be like, we're getting rid of all the Thelema stuff just so you don't fucking know about it.
Our little van pulled into what passed for civilization on the second evening out. I had scoured the last gas station for saint medallions or one of those little light-up name keychains. Maybe an Enochian. No dice. A bad omen, perhaps. You start losing your mind traveling like this. The hotel clerk had that Innsmouth look. Clearly some offspring of the deep ones. A landlocked variety. This 6-foot lungfish gurgled at my associate and handed him a room key. We really should have just camped out there. There's always next time. Well, if we aren't killed in our sleep. A liquor store was across the street. We stocked up, and I cut my credit card into pieces in the parking lot. All that was left was to make it to the grounds.
So now is time for the favorite segment of the show,
where we roll up our sleeves, we invoke the spirit of journalistic excellence, and we ask, what's in the news? I stretch this out just so he gets upset.
I'm upset now.
Yeah. All right, so
what is in the news indeed? All right, real quick scattershot here just because I don't know what's going on in the news right now. I've been disconnected from a phone all day. It's wonderful. But we do have a couple things we wanted to talk about before. Did you guys hear about radioactive shrimp?
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
I can't even make my superpower joke because I already know what somebody's response is going to be.
Do it for the listeners.
All right, fine. It's going to great. This is going to be somebody's superhuman origin. Like I ate the shrimp and then like the radioactivity came inside and then I got like a legion and like some polyps. But like maybe I don't know what shrimp related powers you get though.
You're tasty.
You're delicious. Yeah. You hit you with some lime.
We at CMN have an incredible soft spot for radioactive animals because one of the best stories we ever did, it was so good that we forgot about it, found it again, and then did it twice, was the radioactive wolves at Chernobyl.
Who have developed radioactivity like resistance as time has gone on. These things, like I'm telling you, when the bombs drop and everything's fucked up, when the post-human species are coming together, they're gonna worship the wolves at Chernobyl, who are probably going to be twice as big and even more, like they're going to be like super mutants from Fallout, but in wolf form.
Just one step away from the glowing cats.
Yeah, exactly.
Princess Mononoke was,
It was just too early.
future, yeah.
It's prophecy.
It goes Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, then Princess Mononoke. It all makes sense.
Don't get me talking about Nausicaa.
So, honestly, I think what we should do is just take the ones that you've gotten packaged already. I guess it's too late for them, other than like some ceviche or something. But like you just let the radioactive shrimp be radioactive and just let it keep going, and like we'll see where it goes. They might not be tasty, but they're probably going to be really badass. And then like we're that much closer to the deep ones coming back and reclaiming everything.
Super down with that. Honestly, I mean, I just want shrimp to be bigger in general. So, like, we get them, like, maybe, like, puppy size, something like that. I think I'm pretty down with that.
They're literally called shrimp. Why would you want them to be bigger?
Who ever heard of a jumbo shrimp?
You're telling me a shrimp fried this rice, sir? Was he radioactive? He had to be mutated.
That's so fucking stupid.
I know. This is your life. You chose to do this. You came in front of people to do this, in fact.
This is great.
Okay, what else we got?
Donald Trump is doing photo ops marching through DC as the military occupation is going on. So he's like, I guess they're giving him like a little stick that he can hit people with as he's walking down, and then like smiles for the camera, and he's like, we love it, folks. We love when you just rough. I'm being tough on crime, and it's just fascism. That's really all it comes down to.
It's sad that that's not really news now. But what's interesting about it is before that, he was talking about how he wanted to get into heaven.
Oh yeah.
Right. He said, where he was talking about the Ukraine trying to get the ceasefire and all that stuff. He's like, I'd really like to get into heaven. And I'm wondering if somebody was like chatting him up about it, and he was like, wait, what's going to happen when I die?
Well, he's a big Christian apparently, but he's also probably one of those ones that's like never actually paid attention to anything going on. Hell might have been a new thing for him. They might have told him about it. He's like, what, hell? What?
Well, that doesn't sound
I'm going to
fun.
have to pay for what?
Wait, greedy people go where?
Well, it's like the good book says, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a fascist president to not rot in hell.
You just almost wish somebody had like talked to him about reincarnation, because then he would have been like, "What? I'm gonna come back? What if I come back as the wrong color person?"
He may literally just be confused. He may literally just be confused and think that heaven is like a physical place.
Oh yeah,
like a resort.
It's just,
Like-
it's just another one of the many
Like,
clubs
yeah, like-
they won't let him in, right?
Skyscraper tall enough, I'll just get into heaven.
That kind of worked.
Tower of Babel? What?
We have different languages now, and that's working out for me. Swear words in other languages is just like a highlight of my life.
Sorry.
Podcast. Oh shit.
You're good. You're fine.
I was gonna say, the Wild Hunt's about to start. If anybody was wanting to participate, we are imminently starting. So head up that way and come play with us.
Hell yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks. See, this is the sort of things that you guys miss when you don't come hang out with us on the road. Just saying, you could get hunted.
There's a wild hunt.
participating in the
Someone's gonna
wild
be
hunt.
up, in, around a tree. It's gonna be all kinds of crazy stuff.
All right. One more piece of news. Hunter Biden went on a spirit quest. This is completely unsubstantiated. We just saw this while we were sitting around, so we have to talk about it. Local, do you have the screenshot still?
Yeah, give me a second to pull it up.
It was an ayahuasca thing, wasn't it?
I kind of wish it was. I think it was probably just being high on crack. That tends to be his MO.
Just went to a fish concert.
All right.
You guys are speaking too ill of film enthusiast, stay-at-home pharmacist, and
NRA advocate.
an NRA advocate, Hunter Biden.
Wild Hunter Biden.
Wild Hunter Biden. Yeah, we're gonna see. That should have been my name this week.
Read the thing, Local.
Okay.
This is just a tweet.
Towards the end of Hunter Biden's book, he reveals how a giant owl led him to Prescott, Arizona, and then he hooked up with his dead brother's widow in an attempt to bring him back to life. This guy's a psycho. I wish I were making this up.
Did he get like an owl invite?
Yeah, a letter telling him.
I don't know, some black laws.
He just shows up at Hogwarts and fucks his dead brother's
Well, the
wife.
owls are not what they seem. They want you to fuck your dead brother's wife.
Which one's the one that always depicted as an owl? Stolas?
Yeah, Stolas.
Yeah, with the really long leg.
There he's like, all right, come out here, and it's all right. I'm gonna teach you about like the dignity of different minerals and stuff. Nah, you're fucking your brother's wife. Okay, that's cool too. We'll get to that later.
Based on what I know about Hunter Biden, that's probably accurate. He would see the demon trying to teach him the mysteries of astrology and be like, so you're saying if I fuck her, I can bring my brother back? Will Dad love me then?
And he's like, well, I'm not saying.
I just want to talk about some stars, man.
Have you thought about getting your natal chart checked out? That's why I never mind. You're fucking. All right, I'll come back later.
Hey,
And
you're
he's-
filming me? Don't film me. Okay.
Just
all right.
pokes his little bird head in. And he's like, do y'all need anything? I mean, like, some waters or, no, you're still fucking. All right.
Blanket, a little back rub. I'm here for you guys.
I'll
What's
just
that?
be,
That's crack. Oh, interesting. Okay.
all right. If you need me, I'll just be out here with my triangles.
All right. So, we'll call that enough news for a truncated episode.
Yeah, we're speed running this bitch.
Oh, you couldn't have asked for a warmer welcome, but I'm pretty used to that when I'm wearing my hoochie daddy shorts. Surrounded by Discordians, Kinksters, and an aura of overwhelming ego, we were ready. We had mic stands, a cooler full of booze, and a super soaker labeled adrenochrome. We're here. Just point us to the stage.
So, the last thing we're going to talk about, the culture piece of the episode, as we are wont to do. We're going to do a special on this guy at some point, but we wanted to talk to you guys about the marvelous, wondrous man that is Frank Moore. We don't have the ability to go into him. We're going to probably just do a whole damn special on him because we fucking love this guy. I've been fascinated with
But
him for
the
like
broad
last
strokes
month.
is what, like 60s?
Yeah, 60s into the 70s and 80s. Frank Moore was a disabled man. He
Cerebral
had
palsy.
Cerebral
Yeah,
palsy.
cerebral
He was
palsy.
unable to speak, unable to walk. Just, basically ended up the luckiest person of that era because his parents were like, no, he's going to have a great life despite this. We're not going to just put him in a fucking asylum. We're not just going to send him off somewhere. He's going to have a great fucking life. And he did, because this man, through sheer force of will and an incredibly magical worldview, and I don't mean that in the way that chaos are like, oh yeah, this is magic. I mean, he expressly says this is magic consistently. He talks about the shamanic tradition in his work, became not only one of the most prolific writers on art, performance, and sexuality, and to a greater extent magic, but became a performance artist himself. He would go around with, it was called the Bizarre Beauty Review, and it was basically kind of like, what we would now possibly refer to as a polycule, also an art troupe. And they would go around and perform these, like, they would do.
Now, that seems kind of common anyway, right? It's
I mean, a little bit more.
Polycule, art collective.
I mean, you don't have to, but it helps.
I mean, that's what we are, right?
I mean, not everything red is a fire truck, but fire trucks are red,
At any rate, Frank, he developed this system where he would have a helmet that had a pointer on it so he'd communicate and just,
he'd place words, like common words, and then letters and stuff,
Yeah, all that sort of thing. And he had basically people that would interpret for him so he could help build these amazingly complex and interesting ritual performances that involved like singing of modern songs with this group of people that he had. And also, more specifically for what we're going to end up talking about, was blatantly and just incredibly erotic performances, just naked bodies touching, feeling, the exploration of the human body as both private performance and public art. And he developed this concept out of the fallout of that group, because he said, we didn't have sex because having sex, as we saw it at the time, was something you did in marriage, which he essentially tries to expound upon as like bonded relationships. So they did all sorts of things, they were very at home with each other's bodies, and especially within the confines of performance, but they didn't actually have sex. And when they started finally having sex, it all fell to pieces, because as he put it, the way the possessiveness and jealousy that you see in so many like monogamous relationships came out, and it just destroyed the thing. And he started trying to understand why that happened. And, why did it work before this? And what made it, once you introduced sex as this thing that these sorts of acts would lead to, why did that destroy it? So out of that, he developed something that he called eroplay. And the idea was, it is essentially, he would put it in much better words than I'm going to, but eroplay is essentially the way in which we can have these sort of explorative, joyous, sensual activity with each other without the linear goal of orgasm and sex. And Mr. Moore presented this as essentially a form of magic. That through he describes things like the idea of the metaphor he used was the idea of, like, think of a dog getting a really good belly rub, right? The pure ecstatic joy and pleasure that comes out of just the ability of skin on skin, bodies on bodies, seeking to give the other pleasure without any sort of goal, without any sort of linear dimension of, because when you rub a dog's belly, you don't rub it with the idea of like, oh yeah, you're going to feel fucking amazing and you're going to fucking have your moment and you're going to be, all right, now you're done. Great.
Well, it's that idea of it doesn't have an end point. It is play for the sake of it. You're doing something. That's fun.
It's play,
and then eventually you stop. So the idea of aeroplay as these sort of ways of exploring people's bodies, of having fun with each other and stuff, without it getting locked up in a very mechanical, like, all right, I'm doing this, and eventually I need to bust a nut, otherwise I'm going to go crazy. That sort of thing. It was an attempt to sort of in the same way that you use those forms of sex that you prolong orgasm and stuff like that to try to achieve something, that there was this idea of sort of transcending a very like baseline biological thump, 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 all right, I'll call you in the morning type thing.
Right. And what I think separates it in an interesting way for me from, what you described, the sort of like, prolonged orgasmic sort of things, and the ability to go into like, retention and stuff like that, is that it is not it's not an instrumental thing. You don't do this with any goal beyond the doing itself, right?
It's the freeing yourself from the Heidegger talked about as like the technological inframing where everything is utilitarian, serving a function of like, this gets me this.
Right, yeah. And again, the way he writes about it, again, he expressly describes this as part of, he uses the term shamanism, which I'm sure at least one person who is still here is not okay with. But what he's talking about is...
Castanedated. Sorry.
What he's talking about is this sort of way that where, for more at least, Magick comes from this interesting private sense of non-linear experimentation within the world, where the one non-sexual one that he used that I thought was really interesting was he was talking about singing when you know no one else is around and when you stop because other people are in the room, because this is not something for other people. This has to do with me and what's going on. This is the hauling back into the dark shamanic cave to find the magic. And eroplay is a way of engaging with such a practice like this that is still private in that sense. But, Moore himself would describe it as, well, all of my performances are private performances. They might have an audience, but they are a private thing. The audience is only there to bring about this sort of energy and this way this works.
Carl Jung has an interesting quote that I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember off the top of my head, but he talked about, this is one of those times where he's talking about magic, like, magic. And he describes magic as the invisible force that if you can withstand it within yourself, then perhaps it crosses the barrier to affect your neighbor, So the notion of these sort of private practices, these things that you are done, they're done on the individual basis and finding the way that, well, it's like, this is for me, this is in here, or however you'd want to phrase it, but it's only through doing these private practices, these things with myself, that things are able to branch out and go into the world, which is, I guess that's a very, in a lot of senses, a sort of chaotic sort of way of looking at it. When you talk, if you're talking like psychological model and stuff like that, not psych model like, oh, this is all just things in my head, but the idea of like the way I experience the world, somehow there's an in from like, all right, I take something in and it is now being reflected out into the world. The internal makeup is does have an interplay with everything that's out there.
Now, to cut to the chase of it, I'm fascinated by this because as people who have dealt with kink in various ways, everyone understands that in a kind of way. Like, whether it's quite the way Moore would describe it or the way we're describing it, it's a very similar sort of thing. Moore himself kind of hated kink. He was almost explicitly against any form of violence being used within like a sexual context. He has this one thing, and he wrote a little pamphlet that he was giving out at the end of his life called The Magic Art of Doing. And he just goes on this little tirade at one point about how it was that the rise of BDSM and, violent kink in the 19th century was a result of the fact that we do have these sorts of possessive, linear designations for sexuality. I'm not saying I agree, folks. I'm saying this is what his theory was. And you know what? The only thing I can come up with is that I think it's just that he wasn't into it and he couldn't understand why anyone was into it. Because he describes in the sense of like, oh, well, all it is I'm going to get me because I like hurting you and you like hurting. And if you don't, who fucking cares? Which is like the textbook bad dom definition almost, right? You're like, I don't give a fuck about what you want.
Someone didn't read the consent form. No, but for real, and it could be possibly in the same way that he looked at sex as like, oh, the minute you introduce like the penetrative orgasmic experience, all of a sudden the possessiveness and the clinginess and that I've got you and this, this is my territory now because I've been in. Maybe for him, it's just something, it wasn't a chasm he was able to cross. And the problem is that this was a lot of this starts in the 60s.
Yeah, he was writing that specifically. And
we're just now getting across that barrier. And maybe just the people in his little circle and it just weren't ready for that.
Maybe they weren't. Maybe Mr. Moore wasn't ready for it. But I still think that his idea of trying to, well, I mean, again, it's the idea of play. it's something that I think everyone here has experienced in some way, shape, or form, and it's
like
something.
when I get the paddle ball or like the ball in the cup.
Ball in the cup. Man, we should have been playing ball in the cup.
God damn.
Could have just been playing ball in the cup the whole time.
Chaos Magic, ball in a cup. Got it. That's the next show.
But I think this idea is something that it's not quite, to say it's overlooked in a magical sense isn't quite the right word. But
well, there is almost the sort of like free yourself from the lust of result. You know, you do it to do it. That's sort of
the
thing
only
too.
thing that you're doing is to do the thing. It's not even, especially if you look at some of his rituals and performances. A lot of it was this one particular one stands out to me. I think it'll give you all a taste of the sort of things that he's doing. He got people to consent to being a part of this ritual, not telling them anything about what was going to happen. And he's saying all that's going to happen is a speaker is going to randomly pull these cards that I've written these directions on, and you guys are just going to perform them. And it's goes from the very simple, such as like explore your partner's hands, to things like, embrace your partner coitally. I don't think that was the term he used, but same idea. And what he describes happening from these happenings is, again, the sort of thing we're talking about. People become just ecstatically, he talked about orgasms of the liver that last for hours, but I've had one of those, but I've been drinking, so I don't think it counts. This sort of divorcing yourself from not only the regular confines of what erotic behavior is supposed to entail, but also what's the word I'm looking for here?
Reappropriating, recontextualizing.
No, those are all good ones, but I was trying to think, what's the opposite of alienation? Reintegrating. Thank you. Yeah, it's the reintegrating of yourself as a body with other bodies as something to find not only joy, pleasure in, but just something to do. I mean, this is the moment where I tell y'all, reach out and touch somebody.
But there
Make
really
sure they
is
consent.
There's something to be said about the, like sounds kind of funny. It's like the orgasm of the liver, but the idea of finding the bodily bliss that is not locked up in that sort of, like I said, mechanical reproductive thump, where it's all oriented around pretty much one specific part of this body, and everything almost serves as the, who likes getting their nipples rubbed or something like that, but it's because there's the party is going downstairs, so everything turns into, all right, how do I direct as much of this right to my wang as fast and as hard as possible? And then you go, and all right, what's on TV?
It's you described it to me when we were talking earlier as it is the denial of the post-orgasm clarity. Yeah. It's the refusal to get to that point where you bust and you're like, man, why the fuck was I doing any of this? And we need more of that, because I mean, I don't know. I think we're all liberated here, but some people do have a very violent sort of binging and purging, especially within the kink sort of community, where they're very much into this sort of thing, and then they have shame and guilt and all these other things stuck in it, specifically after they've been engaging with it for a while.
Throw away my high heels and everything else. Yeah, I get it.
But I think that if people, whether in a magical context or just in your own lives, can kind of try to recapture that in a way that's safe and healthy for everybody, I think that'll do the world a lot of good. And if nothing else, you can say we gave you one idea that might do you some good, because we filled it up with fucking muck about porn sites from the 90s. And, we have to balance our karma there, don't we, folks?
Yeah. And his website, it's like Aeroplay.
It's aeroplay.com. And it's just chock full of stuff. Again, we'll do, all the listeners at home, we will do a whole thing on Frank Moore later. Maybe it might be the next special, might be the special after that. Who fucking knows? But we'll talk about it at some point, because we've not even gone a 10th into this man's magical ideas. This was just the one that I saw that I was like, no, we have to talk about this here. Where else are you going to talk about it? It's the Carnival of Khaos. It's fucking debauchery.
Well,
that is the quickest we've ever done an episode.
What are we at?
We're just under an hour, I think.
We're just under an hour? That's
Yeah,
fucking
just
crazy.
Yeah, we speed run this bitch.
Yeah.
But we can fill up the hour with the final palate cleanser. How goes the work?
So somebody had this great idea to sort of bring about more connectivity and networking and bringing together community within this particular little, Camp Chaos here. We all created a sigil together, and then we all created a mantra using, everybody developed a sound that was related to their intent after we passed around a board and everybody added on to this sigil. So we made the sigil, we did this mantra, we sat there vibrating until it sort of took hold into something we could all sort of wrap our heads around. And then we all ate a sliver of Carolina Reaper, and as the snot and the hiccuping and the going and everything was there, the pain took over, and we all just locked in on the sigil, vibrated the mantra, and it was a pretty powerful experience. I feel, there's always that idea of like, man, don't talk about it, don't think about it, but it'll be a little bit of ways after this goes up. I'll probably have forgotten about it successfully, but
I think just in the sense of what we're trying to accomplish with it, I know it is a sort of a private thing amongst us here, but it's for the greater Chaos Magic community. So why wouldn't we tell people about it? You, listener at home, go find your own sigil and eat a whole Carolina Reaper. Do it. Do it for Chaos Magic.
wear gloves.
Do it.
Wear gloves
Don't touch your eyes.
or your other bits.
So that's what we've been doing. Hey, everyone else in the audience, how did you like it? Was it fun for y'all?
Yeah.
Does everyone else taste buds still taste kind of funny?
Yeah, my sense of taste is still a little wonky.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to go away, but
You're just like this now forever. You just know what you have to do is you have to eat another pepper to get back to baseline. So we'll have to do that later.
Pass.
Pass.
miss me with that shit. Well, with that,
This has been Chaos Magic News.
the only podcast that has eaten collectively an entire Carolina Reaper pepper today.
If for any reason you might want to discover the joy of doing just to do it, you could just go to chaosmagicnews.com where you'll find more links to episodes, links to our, our rather prolific interview series, the occasional article bits and bobs. You can also find us on social media. We're at Chaos Magic News on most things except for Blue Sky because somebody sniped it out from under us. God,
Who would take that?
I know. They're not even
Have you
doing
no
anything
shame?
with it. Yeah, give it back, homie. Give it back. We also we post links to much of the same thing, and also the occasional spicy meme.
Not as spicy as a pepper, though.
Not as spicy as a
No.
pepper. Now, and then if for whatever reason you heard this and it's like, man, I really wish I could support all of these people, we do have a Patreon, which if you sign up for that, you'll get access to a couple bonus things. We just wrapped up the Occult Iceberg series finally, and we're moving on
fucking
to...
God.
God, that was a
That
slog.
shit sucked.
Yeah. But,
I mean, it's great listening, folks, but goddamn, I don't know who the fuck made that thing. They are a fucking enigma.
and also you get your name read right here. The support means the world. Everybody that's here, honestly, you've touched our hearts. This is a lot. Getting invited out here really was something. It's like when we went up for Babylon Rising, it was cool. This has been really dope. You do forget that there's real people out there doing stuff, and you're like, man, shit, I'm just in my basement with my piss jugs, and then.
In my waifu.
Yeah, my
"Hi,
Scarlet Waifu.
Miku, you don't understand. There were people, and they liked my ideas, and they talked to me, and they didn't spit at me.
We've met a lot of really cool people, and hopefully next year, you dear listeners, maybe you'll get your asses out here. It'll be a lot of fun. I think that's about it. Local, do you want the last word?
Missionary position with the lights off for life.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for listening.
And
we will see
thank
you
you
next time.
guys,
And thank
yeah.
you guys for being here.
Thank y'all.
After the show, there were bonfires, dick jousting, a menagerie of clowns recruiting with rubber noses. I banged on a cooler by a tent. The safe word! Damn it, I forgot the safe word! There was initiation to popes and porta-potties, a zucchini the size of my forearm giving prophecy. Someone took a drink every time Kennedy said Heidegger and drank themselves into a stupor in a matter of minutes. The ritual at Locals had been a success. The great god Pan smiled upon us as I sawed the antler into pieces. By the time we had said our tearful goodbyes, we were more alive than we had been in ages. And though the word goon, much like the act itself, had lost all meaning from pure repetition, the three of us considered the journey, all in all, worth having. Chaos Magic News on the road home.
All right, fellas, back to the goon room.